Hey, welcome back, everybody. It's time once again to meet our community, the Hispanic business community here in Orange County, powered by the Orange County Hispanic Chamber of Commerce and Orange County's only community radio station, OC Talk Radio. Today, we're expanding that definition of our community. We're going to really embrace the world here today with the man who's been everywhere and knows everybody, John Gutierrez.
Welcome, everybody, to our community podcast show powered by the Orange County Hispanic Chamber of Commerce. I'm your host, John Gutierrez. And with us today, we have another special guest, Aarti Kaushal Chopra. Did I say that right?
I've been waiting for 20 minutes to see how John was going to pronounce that.
Yes, I'm so sorry. She's the founder and president of course, BE SANSKRITI Legacy. She's the only positive social impact organization in OCIE LA for social responsible businesses, ancient Indian wellness and education programs such as yoga, meditation, breathing, Ayurveda, Bollywood, performing arts, also multicultural consulting, curated food experiences for better business, relationships, strengthening cultures, and promoting wellness.
You should know Ayurvedic is the Indian approach. It's sort of like Chinese traditional medicine. It's very similar, energies and chakras and stuff.
Welcome to the show.
And wellness. Yeah, thank you. It's so glad to be here.
So you want to share briefly with everybody this outfit? I think we should definitely share about it if you don't mind, and then we'll get into some other stuff. I know we got some great events that you're going to share with everybody that are coming up. So we'll get into those events also. Of course, your organization and everything you're doing to collaborate with different communities, different cultures, of course, and of course our Hispanic Chamber of Commerce. And so share with us this great outfit you're wearing.
Well, I thought, in business, you should look like what you promote, whether it's a product or a service. And I promote culture as our strength and wellness for life. And I'm a proud Indian American, and I'm a proud Orange County Hispanic Chamber member.
Yes.
So I thought, what better way to represent what I'm coming here to talk about? And I thought, in a difficult time when culture is being perceived and seen as a weakness, culture is actually our strength. Mm-hmm. So I thought, let me represent my Indian culture.
Yes.
As my strength.
Yes.
And reinforce that message that culture is our strength here, especially in Orange County. And so I'm wearing one of my former Bollywood dance costumes.
Okay.
So this purple skirt, this
Were you
orange
in a Bollywood
stole.
production ever?
I was.
Wow. Does John know what Bollywood? Instead of Hollywood, it's Bollywood, and they do these elaborate.
And Bollywood is a big thing, right?
Music and dance and everything. Here.
People don't know it's the largest film industry in the world, which is India's Hindi language movie industry.
Okay.
So Bollywood runs India. Bollywood Hindi language movies have the ability to bring 1.4 billion people together around one screen with one message as entertainment. It's family friendly. Most of our Bollywood Hindi language movies are musicals. So we've got our elaborate dance costumes that we dance and sing in. Of course, the actors and actresses have playback singers that are not the actors and actresses themselves, but then they wear these beautiful Indian, elaborate outfits. They dance in them. And Bollywood has brought joy to billion plus Indians for over. Hollywood is the,
so just in
Hollywood,
general,
bunch of movie studios. It's just a huge industry.
Because Bombay, it's in Bombay, which is now called Mumbai.
Oh.
It used to be called Bombay. So Bombay and Hollywood put together became Bollywood.
That's what I want. Okay.
Yes.
We're learning here. We're learning. This is good.
Like cultural education.
This is good. Is there like a favorite movie you when you were growing up as a child that you remember the most? I mean, there's certain movies that I grew up as a kid in my culture that I remember. Is there anything in particular that you remember the most, around your parents, your family? Share with us about the culture as you were growing up, if you don't mind.
Sure. So I'm mostly American raised. I'm British born, Buffalo, New York raised, New Delhi, India raised, and then Irvine, California raised. So my childhood was in four, places.
Yes.
But I'm mostly American raised. But I grew up in a divorced family. My mom was a divorced doctor, and my grandparents also raised us. We were an extended family, but a divorcee family. And that was very unusual in the Indian culture. back a few decades ago.
Is that tough? Like
extremely.
Because your mom was a doctor, very successful businesswoman, right? I mean,
very successful, very good reputation in the community. But she withstood a lot of social ostracizing within our Indian community and even within the family. But because she was the eldest and she was so beloved, when she took me and my brother when I was 6 and my brother was 1, we were in Buffalo, New York, and she took us to New Delhi, India. She separated from my father, and then a divorce happened after that. It was very bitter. There was a bitter custody battle, and it was extremely hard. Not many Indian families went through divorce at that time. I mean, typically.
So it was very new in the culture, in the community. It was like.
It was unheard of. Not just new, new and completely unheard of, and not done. And in fact, because my mom was in Buffalo, New York, she wasn't in India, but she didn't have any family support. So same thing in England, where I was born. I was a few months.
Somebody wants to know if your father was Indian too, or was
yes,
he
both
American?
my parents are Indian, and I come from the typical doctor, engineer, middle class Indian family. So dad was an electrical engineer, mom was a doctor, but my
That's
mom
very common.
That's why I said I come from the typical doctor engineer
that's what I'm saying.
Indian
For people
family.
listening, right, that may not know that, that's such a common thing, right? In the
Literally,
community. Because I live in Irvine, and most everybody I run into, they're either doctors or engineers, and it's a big Indian community.
Exactly. Irvine has one of the largest Indian communities in the nation, not just in Orange County or California, but in the nation.
Really?
Oh, yeah. Every Indian around the world literally knows another Indian in Irvine.
Yeah, at my son's school, right there at Northwood High School on Portola, on Saturdays when he has football practice and I'm dropping him off, sometimes they're playing that game.
Cricket.
Yes. And I've never seen that.
That game.
I'm sorry.
That bat and ball game.
Yes, I couldn't remember the game, but it's interesting because I've never gone to a high school and actually seen somebody playing that game, right? So to see it, I was like, I pulled over and I'm like watching them play it, and I was trying to like understand it, as they were running around. I mean, obviously to me it felt
that
like
English sport that gave birth to baseball.
Is that where baseball came from, Paul?
Yeah, it's a ball and bat sport.
I'm sorry, I don't follow a lot of baseball.
Instead of runs. So
really?
Yeah, and or
they
wickets
go
instead of
nuts.
bases.
Wasn't the form? I'm not trying to antagonize you, Han. No, we're not supposed to say Pakistan and India in the same breath here because of the. And difficulties and fights forever. But
my lineage is from present-day Pakistan.
So, but wasn't the past president? I've forgotten his name now. The cricket star. I think he was. What was his name? I think he's under indictment now or something.
That was in Pakistan. That was Imran Khan.
He was a really good. He was a really good player.
Oh yeah, star player. Yeah. So in India and that region, typically. Stars will become either like you go from modeling to like if you're in the modeling industry you'll go into the beauty pageant industry. Then from there from beauty pageant industry the next step is the Bollywood Hindi language movie industry or the other regional language industries. So Bollywood is Hindi language, which is like in Africa Swahili is the main language. So in most of India Hindi is the main language, and I speak, read, write Hindi.
And who's the former Miss World that became the superstar?
Oh, there are 3 of them. Aishwarya Rai. Oh
yes,
my God,
right.
She was voted the world's 100 most beautiful women.
Really?
In her time.
Look her up. Yeah, right.
Yeah, Aishwarya Rai. And Time's also most influential women back in her day. So that's also the path she went on. So from modeling to beauty queen, beauty pageant. Once you're beauty queen, you kind of go into the Bollywood film industry. And then once you're done with the Bollywood film industry, your years are over, then you go into politics. That typically has been the trajectory of those families. And there's still dynasty families and all that. But I'm from New Delhi, the capital. My family's from there. So it's like being in Washington, D.C. So I heard a lot about politics. There's a lot of patriotism if you're from New Delhi. New Delhi is also the melting pot because it's the capital. You get to see all of India in New Delhi. So I had the benefit of being exposed to that as a child.
How many different ethnicities and languages make up that multi-language, multi-ethnic country? I can't even keep track of them.
India is a continent in and of itself, and oftentimes it's called the Indian subcontinent, which Pakistan was cut out of. Bangladesh as a country was cut out of. Bhutan, Nepal, Sri Lanka, about 100 years ago, even Afghanistan was cut out of what used to be India. So the whole region is called the Indian subcontinent, and India itself, what's left of it now, each state has its own language, its own food, its own dress, its own customs, and a lot of times the languages are not intelligible. And then within those regional languages, there are dialects. And then within those dialects, if you go to the villages, each village has its own dialect. So we're talking thousands of dialects and thousands of languages.
I will tell you, I saw special once on India, and the one thing that they stood out a lot was all the spices. Right?
Look what I brought some for you guys.
Oh, check this out, Paul.
Today without spices.
She brought food for
gifts.
you?
I come with gifts with love from India.
Yes.
So our traditions. So since you brought up spices,
Isn't
I
it?
have
It's
a
like
little something
it's like
for
a
you
big
guys.
thing, right?
Well, that's what India was invaded and colonized for,
Yes.
only for 1,000 years and counting,
It's
just
like-
until
Well, and
79
they
years
spread
ago.
that to Thailand, the curry spices and everything.
Most
else comes from
definitely.
India.
So I
Curry's
actually
so good.
come bearing gifts. And since you asked about spices,
Yes,
I thought, what better way than to start off our day spicy? I'm dressed all colorful.
What is this?
Color and spices are why India was invaded by the world and colonized for over 1,000 years. This is called chaat masala. Chunky, actually, the brand is Chunky Chaat Masala.
Is this where they make the chicken masala?
No, this is one type of chaat masala. I was like, how am I going to represent the Hispanic culture too today and not really represent?
It's okay.
But
focus on the culture.
I know.
You guys, yes.
No,
this
so
is great.
this is very strong if you smell it,
Oh,
but
wow.
this
I
is
can
meant
smell
to
it.
go
Yeah.
on fruit. So
Oh,
I brought
smells so
something
good, Paul.
that
Smell
you
that?
can put on fruit.
Oh,
All kinds of
that's-
fruit.
Just like the way it is.
Exactly the way it is. Just like how you would use like chile con limon or
Yeah.
tajin. So a little bit of lemon and chaat masala goes the distance. Use it sparingly though. But India was colonized, invaded, attacked, occupied for its spices. Because, in the West they couldn't keep their meat
Yeah.
good
Can I
without
ask you about
spices.
one
So
of those
spices
spices?
actually
Tahine. You mentioned tahine, which
Yeah.
I see on. I go get a Mexican margarita now. They put
Yeah.
tahine on the rim. Isn't
Oh,
that
yeah.
an Indian spice?
No, that's a Mexican
That's
spice.
not Mexican
Yeah,
spice, but
Tajin.
I tell
Yeah.
you, Mexicans and Indians, I keep saying we are so alike. And I'm Punjabi, so the region that I'm from in India is in North India. My whole lineage is Punjabi. My dad is from the Indian state of Punjab in North India, and then Pakistan has also a state of Punjab. My grandparents were from what became Pakistan, so they're on the Pakistan Punjab side. But 1946 before it became Pakistan. 1946. India got its independence in 1947. In 1946, because they saw what was happening with the British Empire, they were going to leave India, but they left it in ruins and they left it divided. So the people living in that region of India, which now became Pakistan, or it is now called Pakistan, they moved to New Delhi as refugees in December 1946, seeing the writing on the wall to escape, the big exodus, the big
And the huge
there were
civil war
murders.
that
There were
took
it was
place,
it was
yeah,
there
right.
it was not a bloodless independence for India, because India lost its land to Pakistan and Bangladesh, and there were 5 to 10 million people that had to go across the new border, and my grandparents were one of them before it became a border. They came to New Delhi. So I am the grandchild of India's freedom fighters and refugees. So those of us who are
Repeat that again. That's
it's
powerful.
a very
Right? I am the grandchild of
India's
grandparents.
freedom fighters.
Yes, that says a lot, right? They went through so much.
Oh, and nobody really knows India's history and Pakistan's history. It's extremely painful. It's painful for both sides. And media narratives and political narratives won't tell the real story. But because my lineage is from Punjab, which is on both sides in India and Pakistan, and my grandparents are from what became Pakistan, Punjab, they came to New Delhi as refugees. In New Delhi, where I'm from, where my mom's family is from, is also from the Punjab side of New Delhi. They're from West Delhi.
And isn't
West
Punjab
Delhi,
from like up in the northwest?
north.
territory?
It's in the
Yeah.
northwest frontier. So my family's from West Delhi, and West Delhi is where all the refugees, children and grandchildren were born and raised and settled. So my family's from West Delhi, which is Punjab. My dad is from the state of Punjab. My grandparents were originally from what is now Pakistan, Punjab.
And it's
so
not the
Punjab
they're
is where
still fighting over as recently as a month ago. or
Yeah.
two?
She rolls her eyes. For those of you not watching the show, listening, she just, when Paul asked that, she just heard like,
big eye roll. My eye rolls will tell a lot of
yes,
history.
it was like her eyes just went like, oh, Paul, that's a loaded question, Paul.
But that's Kashmir.
Yeah.
So I'm from Punjab. There is some political, differences, I'll say, in Punjab. But what I want to share is really the history, and what you're referencing is what happened a few months ago between India and Pakistan is disputed territory over the state of Kashmir. India claims
which is
Kashmir.
Just north of
It's the northernmost state in India. India has always claimed Kashmir. I know the history of Kashmir. Someone else might disagree with my version of the history of Kashmir. So I don't go there because it is very political. I can speak about Punjab, which is where my family's from. But what I want the people to know about Punjab in India is that it is where invasions happened through. So Punjab became divided. And Punjabi people are fighters. They're warriors. They're very outgoing. They're outspoken.
Going back to Alexander the Great.
Not so great.
That's the first group that came through. I mean, Alexander III was finally stopped in his expansion, worldwide expansion.
And it happened through Punjab. It happened through the Northwest frontier. And that's where my family's from. And a lot of us, the majority of people who had to leave what is now became Pakistan, and then when the border was created, they came to New Delhi as refugees. So I don't say it very often, but when I do get the chance, and I'm now sharing my story more publicly, and I want people to know that I am the granddaughter, the eldest grandchild of India's freedom fighters and refugees who are a tough survivor community.
Are they still around, your grandparents?
No. Okay. So my family, most of it's not around anymore. So I lived here in Irvine with my grandparents and my mom and my brother. My grandfather passed away in 2003. My mother passed away in 2012. Wow. And my grandma had to be moved. My grandma was 87 when that happened. And my mom was 64 when she passed away. So my grandma had to be moved. My brother and I moved. Our family fell apart. Our family home fell apart. I still live in Irvine. I'm divorced. I don't have children. I kind of come from a very triumph over trauma family background. Mm-hmm. And my own personal story is also one of triumph over tragedy. Every relationship that I knew fell apart when my mom died in August of 2012. My marriage fell apart. Wow. I couldn't have kids. I went through IVF that month to try to retrieve some eggs, to try to, have my own.
That's tough, right? The IVF is really tough. I've seen that extremely a lot recently. A lot of people talking about that, right? Trying to go through that process. It's tough.
And these are things I don't talk about very much. But now that I am doing podcast interviews and I am representing the best of my culture, I'm also talking about how my Indian culture saved my mental health and why I'm such a big mental health advocate because of it.
Why would you say that? What is it? I mean, I can understand probably why, but share more about that. Why do you feel like the culture aspect? Because you're somebody that at your age knows a lot about your history and your culture.
Extremely.
And not everybody today, takes that, I guess you could say, road or that pride or that, hey, I want to learn my history. Everybody's so focused on what's in front.
Yeah, or future.
Right, or the future, the goals, and not so much what happened in the past. Yeah. And you're like a walking encyclopedia.
I kind of was raised that way, though. Mm-hmm. And this is where I tell the history of India's partition, it was called. And I'm so glad you're asking me these questions about it, because partition to this day is one of India's most horrific, unspoken, almost I don't want to say Holocaust type of genocide, but there was genocide that happened. There were millions of Indians that suffered, died, struggled. And that is my story, because that's what my grandparents raised me on. They raised me on the oral history of India's partition, India's independence. My mom was born a month after India's independence, but in New Delhi. And so these were conversations that were just in every family that went through what my family went through.
So did you draw upon the traditions of like yoga and meditation?
Most definitely.
Mahatma Gandhi and peace and all that?
So Gandhi is another controversial, polarizing figure in India, by the way. And there are many sides. Yes, he was a freedom fighter. Yes, he did it through nonviolent means. But India's independence was no means nonviolent. It was very violent. There was a lot of bloodshed, and it happened with the Punjabi community and the Bengali communities in India. And that's what's called partition. So my grandparents, because they were victims and refugees of partition, they raised me on those stories and in oral history. So many of us from that part of India are raised with oral history from our grandparents. And I took to it because I was the eldest of my generation in our whole entire family. My mom was the eldest of her whole generation. And both my grandfather and my grandmother were the eldest. So in one home, we had 3 generations of family seniority. So our home in Irvine was the family headquarters. People would come from all over the world to come and visit my grandparents and my mom.
I can't help but draw an analogy, maybe a poor one, to the stories John always tells about the history of his family and how they came to this country, and the bracero. What's the
The
program?
braceros. Well, I think everybody.
We have similar histories.
Yeah, I think
just
everybody.
culturally.
I guess we're molded right by our history, right, and our upbringing and our struggles, and I think that's what builds our generation's resilience, right? It's
Most
something that's
definitely.
talked about a lot today. We're always talking about it on the show, how
Right.
new generations may not have that same resilience because
Yeah. Scary.
it's okay. I mean,
Yeah.
hey, more power to them because hopefully they have a better upbringing, right, and better opportunities, better
Different
education,
opportunities, yeah.
better education, whatever it may be, right?
Yeah.
Better social status. But the fact that we did grow up and come from that first or second generation, right, of migrants, right?
Very difficult immigrant
And
journey.
you've
Yes,
shared your
I'm
story.
sharing it.
I've
yeah.
shared my story in the past, right?
Yeah.
It's kind of who makes us who we are today because it
Yes.
molds us into the people we are today based on how my grandpa was and how my father was, right? Just
Right.
like your story.
Right.
So yeah, I mean, I'm it's great to hear that, you found in your culture, in essence, like you said earlier, strength, and hopefully it's helping you with, like you said, your mental,
Most
right?
definitely. And
Mhm.
and this is something I wanted to I'm starting to share publicly now.
Mhm.
And I'm coming out wearing decked out in my full Indian regalia, my full Indian costumes. This is kind of an announcement actually. I'll make the announcement later about my events. But this became my strength, and I and my family became known in our community as a very strong family, despite being raised middle class in Irvine. There is a certain socioeconomic status that comes with that. And I was raised in Irvine's public schools. I didn't go to private school, but yes, I was raised in Irvine in, like I say, the typical doctor, engineer, Indian middle class family situation. But I also had divorce trauma. I had bitter custody battle trauma that my family dealt with. So we were unique and different in that, as an Indian family, in that my brother and I went every other weekend to our dad's house. We had that custody visitation. And this is a bitter custody battle that spanned 10,000 miles from India to Buffalo, New York to Orange County, California. And really, the Indian community, the South Asian community, does not speak about their trauma. I do. Because my family and my personal story are stories of trauma, tragedy, but also triumph and resilience and rebuilding. And that is so much the immigrant experience in America. And I'm here to tell the Indian immigrant experience story, but I thought it was so appropriate to tell it here in the Hispanic Chamber story because I'm here to bring culture as a strength. And because my grandparents raised me on the oral history of India's independence and partition and just Indian history in general and our background, like I'm Hindu, and they taught, I was raised Hindu, and I'm a practicing Hindu, but I'm also an educator. At the end of the day, I'm a former special education teacher. I taught in Santa Ana. That's where I got my start. And being exposed to the Hispanic community gave me a whole other humbling immigrant American experience that I carry to this day. And I want to share that the Hispanic community had a great positive influence in my family and my upbringing.
That's great.
We couldn't, and Indian immigrant families, we often hire, house help, our gardeners. Most of our help is of Latino or Hispanic origin. As Indian families, we can't live our lives without this help. And so these, the help that we had became members of our family. And that's how my family was. That's how many Indian families are. And what we do is we then refer our help. And there are many like Hispanic house help that only work with Indian families because we will recommend and refer. And then what we also do is we'll adopt a lot of people that are our help. And so I have my Maria and Rubio and Gloria and Rosa and Jose and Elias who became members of our family, who worked within our families for 35 to 40 years.
Yeah.
So I am not without that Hispanic influence in my family upbringing, which is the story of many Indian families as well. Many of us Indian families have tias and housekeepers and nannies who have raised us.
Yeah.
I didn't, but I had my grandparents. So that's where I say culture is our strength. Culture was my cultural upbringing was very unique in that I took to the Indian cultural upbringing by my grandparents. My brother, not so much.
I want to make sure, because we're running out of time, I want to make sure you plug in your events,
Yes.
what they're about, because we only have a few minutes. So share
Right.
with us about your events, and then
Yeah.
also where they can connect with you, where they can reach you, right?
Of
when
course.
they can register for these events, or where they can follow you on social media. So please, let's make sure we plug that in.
Right. So the reason I decked out today in my full, almost full Bollywood costume is because Indian dance saved my life and my mental health. And that's where culture became a strength for me. And I became such a mental health, a resilient case of mental health where I could have been, a negative case.
Yeah.
And so dance became my journey.
Yes.
32 years I've done Indian dance. I've done classical Indian dance. I've done folk Indian dance. I taught Indian dance for 13 years. And then I started learning Bollywood dance, and I became one of the best, lady dancers in Southern California up until about 9-10 years ago. And dance never left me. But I've left dance for the last 9 years. But now I'm proud to announce that I'm coming back to my Bollywood dance journey.
That's great.
And I'm performing in a big Bollywood recital called Sisters on Saturday, November 8th at the Redondo Beach Performing Arts Center. There are 2 shows at 12 noon and 6 p.m. You can reach me on Instagram at Aarti Kaushal Chopra or BE SANSKRITI Legacy. Send me a DM.
And let's
I'll
spell
send you
that for
all
everybody.
the information.
You spit out that name so
I
quickly,
did.
nobody's going to...
So I'll hold it up, and you can find me on Instagram and LinkedIn and Facebook under my first name, Aarti, which is spelled Aarti, middle name Kaushal, Kaushal, last name Chopra, Chopra, like Deepak Chopra and Priyanka Chopra Jonas, and also my company name, which is BE SANSKRITI Legacy. So it's the word BE, B-E, Sanskriti, which is SANSKRITI, and then the word legacy. So you can find BE SANSKRITI Legacy on both Facebook and Instagram. Send us a DM. I'll send you all the information for it.
How old is the Sanskrit language or writings? I mean, don't they go back millennia?
So Sanskrit is actually the world's oldest language.
That's what I thought.
And if you look at English, there's some English words that come from Sanskrit, and there's some other Arabic words that come from Sanskrit. There are other Romance or Roman-based and Latin-based words that come from Sanskrit. So it actually is the world's most ancient language. And I included the word Sanskriti in the spelling for, or Sanskrit in the word Sanskriti. Sanskriti actually means traditional, ancient Indian cultural heritage. But by embodying my own Indian heritage, I'm also encouraging others to do the same with their own cultural heritage. So what I have are my own 2 events. So I'm dancing in a Bollywood recital. It's not my own event that I'm organizing. My Bollywood dance company that I dance for, which is called NDM Dance Productions, they're organizing it on Saturday, November 8th. But I have my own 2 wellness and cultural events. The first is a wellness event on Wednesday, October 1st. It's the first Wednesday in October from 5:30 to 8 p.m. It's going to be in Santa Ana, location almost finalized, and I'm making it a yoga for business event. What is yoga and why and how does it help businesses? And I'm crossing my fingers. I'm hoping to do it in collaboration with Santa Ana City Councilman Phil Becerra. So why yoga? Why am I promoting it? Because yoga is something that is accessible to everyone. Everyone around the world does yoga, meditation, breathing. I'm helping educate people about it and to bring the ancient Indian roots of yoga, meditation, breathing. So that event is Wednesday, October 1st, 5:30 to 8 p.m. in Santa Ana. DM me. I'll give the location. Hopefully we can get a yoga proclamation because City of Irvine gave us a yoga proclamation on June 24th through Councilmember William Go. We're very grateful to him. And now I'm just going around to different cities to see, who's open to helping my organization, BE SANSKRITI Legacy, bring yoga for unity, yoga for wellness. I already have interest from an Anaheim City Councilwoman.
I don't know whether you know this, but John does yoga. He's a health
John does yoga. John is going to do yoga after this.
very
If he
good.
hasn't ever done it before.
I'll be
and
very,
breathing.
very honest with you guys. I've never done yoga, but if you know my history, I played football, I played basketball, and I ran track. And because of all the sports that I did, especially track, we basically invented yoga. We stretch a lot in track.
Well, you guys were
So-
inspired by yoga
so-
stretches. Let me
so-
put it that
so
way.
let me
but you
tell
were-
They
you.
didn't
yeah.
invent
Let me
it.
tell you, we invented
Invested
yoga.
in it, yeah.
I was
You were
I was
inspired by
like
it.
6 years old in these track clubs. I was super fast, And man, our coaches would make a stretch, no joke, for like an hour.
And can I tell you my favorite
Yeah.
pose? At least the name, I don't really know what it is, but it's called, isn't it Downward Dog?
Downward dog. So I'm going. You have to come to my event on the 1st of October. because
Paul will
this
be
is
there
where-
doing yoga.
Doing
He'll be in his
downward
yoga
dog.
I'm
Paul's gonna
especially
pose.
I'm especially tailoring it for men, for male business owners, because a lot of typically you see women doing yoga. So I'm actually reaching out to like males and men and boys because I'm too stiff, I can't do it, I'm not flexible. But you're an athlete. Your kids are athletes.
Let's
former
make this
athlete.
Former athlete. Man, there's a difference. There's a difference. I cannot do. At one point, I could do the splits like easily because of all the
Because
stretching.
of the stretching,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. And that helped for me mentally. It helped let me know I was ready for the game, for the
Right.
football game, because of that. And I know we're running out of time. What did you bring in this box? Is this for
Yeah.
Paul Roberts or something? Because I'm just wondering what's in that blue box.
Yeah, so this is our Indian culture, our tradition. We always bring sweets.
There you go, Paul.
So these are sweets.
I told you he
and
loves
these are
food.
traditional
He loves
Indian
food.
Anybody brings food?
And you know what? And it's our Indian festival season is coming up in the fall.
There you
Our
go.
Festival of Lights, Diwali.
What is it called?
So this is it's called sweets. The
Okay.
Indian word for it is mithai.
Okay.
Mithai. So it's just Indian sweets made with like ghee, which is clarified butter, and of course lots of sugar and lentils. A
Oh.
lot of this is lentil based.
My mom
lentil
eats a
and
lot
wheat
of
based.
lentils.
Lentil-based
Yes.
sweets,
Lentil,
a bean-based
right?
sweet.
No, it's a legume, not a bean. It's a legume.
Oh, okay.
Legume.
I don't know the
Wow.
difference of
But
that.
me neither.
But warm this up for 10 seconds.
There you go, Paul.
Don't do it for 11. You will burn your tongue, and then don't say I didn't warn you so.
Okay, all right.
10 seconds, and this is our tradition to offer sweets
And then you have
to
to get into
our
the
guests.
Our
downward
producer-
dog pose.
Paul loves
from India with love. And then more love. I brought something healthy. These are lychee fruit.
Oh.
So lychee
Have you
fruit
ever had like
is
lychees?
something
A lychee is so good. I don't see them very often, but like
Very-
lychee flavored ice creams and other
and drinks
Yeah.
and
Yes.
cocktails. So I thought, well, let me just bring the real lychee because this is a traditional fruit in India. It's also traditional in most of South Asia and Southeast Asia. So this is healthy
I
for
don't
you.
think I've ever
You have
actually
to-
seen the real fruit.
It's right
And
here.
it's got
Is it?
the-
Oh, is this
And
what?
it's and it's
Yeah.
got the shell on it, so you have to take off the
I
shell
was gonna say, what do you do? You
with
crack
a
the
little.
shell?
You use like a little knife or just with your fingernail and crack it open. It's very fleshy inside, white and fleshy.
Does
Looks
it
like a little
taste like
onion.
pistachios or something?
It's
We've
very
learned-
sweet and fleshy.
We've
Lychee.
learned so much today about
Just
history,
today.
culture,
Spices.
clothing, right? Like, I mean,
Masala.
spices, sweets.
Mithai.
Wellness
I mean,
and healing.
Mithai.
If
Yeah.
this podcast didn't have it all, I don't know which one did.
And I didn't even bring the Indian food yet. This
Yes.
is just a little
We've
spicy
learned a lot.
sweet.
Unfortunately,
And the
we've run out of time. We're actually over a few minutes, but I want to thank everybody for tuning in.
I have one more event.
Yes.
Wednesday, November 12th, 5 to 9 p.m. I'm doing a Diwali celebration of lights for businesses exclusively at Tandoor Indian Restaurant in Orange. Please save the dates for both of my yoga for business event, Wednesday, October 1st, 5:30 to 8 in Santa Ana, and my Diwali Festival of Lights for businesses.
And what is
Wednesday,
Diwali?
November
I've heard
12th,
that
5
term.
to 9
I
p.m.
don't even-
More
I don't even know what
importantly, I think
Diwali
it's
is.
important they
Oh, right.
follow you on
in
social
Orange.
media.
Follow me on both of my
Yes. Follow you so they can
Instagram
see
and
what's going on,
Facebook
right?
and LinkedIn.
Because you have a lot of
Correct.
information there. You have the
And I'm
flyers.
going to give you
have
one
everything.
more minute
Absolutely.
to answer my question. What's
Yes.
Diwali? I've heard that term
Diwali
before.
is also pronounced Deepavali. It's made up of the word Diba or Deepa and then Wali or Diya and Wali, which means sacred oil lamp made of clay and then that which gives light. So in a time of darkness, Diwali is our festival of light. That
Okay.
is
Is that when
represents
they put like
triumph.
paper boats into the river and all
You
that
can
kind
put
of
the
stuff?
little clay oil lamp in the water and it'll
Yeah.
float in the water, right? As long as it's made of real clay.
Okay.
And so it basically signifies light over darkness, triumph over tragedy, good over evil, all the goodness. And there's a whole religious Hindu epic that goes with it. But it's a beautiful cultural celebration. And I'm going to share it with the business community on Wednesday, November 12th in Orange. Wednesday, November 12th.
Thank
October
you.
1st.
Thank you
Yoga,
for being with
please
us,
join me.
Aarti. We really appreciate all you shared. Thank you for
And
sharing.
Bollywood too. My
yes.
Bollywood night, yeah.
Folks, there you have it.
Follow me and I'll give you all the deets.
Yes,
and,
follow our
and
social media.
special membership discounts too for those of you who are listening in. And if you reference the Orange County Hispanic Chamber of Commerce podcast today, I'll throw in some extra gifts too.
There you
have
go.
to DM me to find out what those gifts
Free
will
gifts, free education. It doesn't get any better.
be. And food. I'm going to bring the food next time.
We got to go, folks. Thank you for tuning in. We will see you guys again on our next
Thank
show.
you so much. And
Good luck.
namaste.
Yes.
Namaste to all.
And we wish you all the best.
Thank
And
you.
again,
Looking forward
thank you
to
for
seeing-
tuning into our community podcast show powered by the Orange County Hispanic Chamber of Commerce.
Thank you.
Wow. Well, there was a lot to pack in that day. We really talked about the whole community, our community, right here in Orange County. Powered by the Orange County Hispanic Chamber of Commerce and Orange County's only community radio station. OC Talk Radio, streaming live from our studios here at the University of California, Irvine's Applied Innovation Center.